Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some nails, and I decided to do a voiceover because it's just easier for me when I'm trying to do the nails and explain the steps that I do in the video for you guys. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. I will absolutely see you in the next one, and I promise the angle is way better in this video than it was in the last one, so I definitely apologize for that. But yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so no disclaimers, but really quick, a small disclaimer. I've tried to record this like 5 times. I'm not doing it again because I'm just tired. It's too much to do a voiceover. This is why it's hard for me to do my nails and speak at the same exact time. I thought this way would be easier, but whatever. I took off my old set. It was a French manicure. I did not film me doing that set because it was just a little too difficult for me to do. I didn't like the way it came out. So I decided this time, let me just go ahead and bust the nails out and do a voiceover. What I'm doing at this part is I'm just taking the drill and I'm roughening up my nail bed. Not too much, just a little bit. And I'm also pushing my cuticle back, kind of just smoothing everything out so that when I get ready to apply the next part of the products, everything will go on smoothly. And you see that nail cleared up. Remember when I did my first set, it was like that water damage and it was green. I told y'all, once the nail starts growing, it will just go away. Nothing is permanent. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. Just roughing it up. Make sure you do this with every nail. Take your time. Don't have that drill on super high because you don't want to cut yourself. So we're done. That's the dehydrator that we used in the last video. It's the same thing we're doing. This step, I don't really know if it is mandatory that you do, but when I was learning off of YouTube, the girl who I was looking at, she used this, so I used it too. I don't know if it, like I said, I don't know if it's mandatory. I don't know if it's something that, you know, makes or breaks the bonding process because it's not a bonder. All it is a dehydrator. It just makes the nail really dry. It takes out all the moisture. Like I guess if you have any lotion, just whatever kind of moisture would be on the surface of the nail, it just totally dries it out. So, you know, that's why I just always use this step. It doesn't burn. It doesn't have a smell or anything like that. I don't think the brand matters. But you put it on all the nails. You just paint it on just like you would do regular nail polish. And I believe, yes, the next step is the primer. And that is the acidless primer. Even though it says it has no acid, it still burns a little bit, but I think that may be because I may have filed it down a little too much, or maybe I cut myself, and that bottle was dumb hard for me to open, y'all. I was struggling, and I don't know why I keep tilting it as if like I'm really gonna get a whole bunch of stuff out of here. I've been saying for like the last 3 videos that I'm gonna go and buy some new one, but I haven't done it. And if you know me, you know me, I like to use stuff until it's all gone, and that's exactly what we did here. But it was still enough to do this set. So you just paint this on just like everything else. This is a part that you can't skip actually because you have to put this on in order to make the acrylic bond to the nail. Now, I don't know if you do skip this step, what's going to happen. Don't ask me. I've never done it, but that's all I know. You put this on before you put the acrylic on, and everything should be good to go. Put it on both sides, obviously. And yeah, so I'm gonna just shut up for a second so y'all can just watch me do this because it's kind of self-explanatory and there's nothing else for me to say at this point. I think that's the nail that it was burning on, and like I said, I may have had a cut on it. If you do have a cut, it's definitely going to burn. I'm going to let y'all know that right now. Alright, so we're good. Now comes the application of the actual nails. Same as before, you want to take out the nails and measure them against your finger. Now here, I think the angle gets a little tricky, so I do apologize, but I kept pulling it up to my face so that I could really see. It's hard to know when your hand is in the frame. I'm looking at all the products, and to me, it's like, okay, everything is good to go. We're in the frame, yada, yada, yada. That's definitely not the case. What I'm doing here is this particular nail is a little bit wider than my pinky nail, so what you can do is kind of like cut the sides to make it fit your nail. If not, you can just shave it down later in the process, but just cutting it off at the grip makes it a lot easier. That set is good. That hand is good. Rather, let's move on to the next hand. Same exact thing. You want to measure it up. But yeah, like I was saying, I kept pulling it towards me so that I could really see to make sure that I had the right size nail. Good to go. I got that set of nails from Amazon. I think I linked it in my last video, but if not, I will make sure to link it in this video. And all the other products that I have, if I can find them, will also be linked in the description box. This is just the Kiss nail glue that I'm using. You can get this literally anywhere. Walmart, dollar store, beauty supply store, whatever. But this came in a kit that I got with those French tips. yeah. So I know you can't really see it, but all I'm doing is just, there it is. A little bit. Come on, Star. Bring it back down. Bring it. There we go. I'm just putting the nail on, and I'm pressing dumb hard. Don't ask me why, but in my head, the harder you press, you know, the harder it is for it to come off or pop off or whatever. But I don't know. You just put it on. Self-explanatory. Do the same thing for the rest of them 9 nails. Again, I'm going to shut up because you know what I'm doing. All right, so now we're on the last nail. Pressing it down super hard. Because why? Because that's just what Star does, even though we don't need to do all of that. It's really not that serious. But you're going to see later. I don't know if it's in this clip or if it's in the next one. There it is right there. Look at that. Why? How you going to do that? Whole nail is crooked. So we got to either decide if we're going to leave it. That's what I'm thinking about now. Or if we're going to take it off. And I decided to just pop it off real quick. And reapply because that was just pissing me off. I really don't know how I put it on that crooked. But it happens. No big deal. Just take it off if you want to take it off. If not, you can leave it on. Like, if you can't get it off, if the glue has already, like, bonded really tough, you could just, I don't know, maybe, like, file it and kind of straighten it out. Or, you know, I don't know. Figure it out. But for me, I just wanted to take it off because I think I'm a low-key OCD. All right, now we good. We're on straight. So we definitely got to cut them down, and that's what I did. I cut them down. I think I cut them down off camera. Let me see. Yeah, I did. And now I'm just measuring them up. Just put the nail side by side to make sure that each nail is the same length. Now we're back to the filing. This is the part where I was talking about before that when I first did it, I skipped it by mistake because I forgot. All you're doing at this part is where that your, how do I say this? Where the smile line is from the fake nail to your actual nail. You just kind of want to blend that a little bit. You're not trying to make it super, super thin. Don't file it down too much because it absolutely will come off. What you're trying to do at this point is just make it so that you don't really feel the line, so that when you put the acrylic on it, there's like no hump, like a obvious hump there. So that's all I'm doing. And we're going to speed this up because it's a long, long process to get this. It took me about, I think this was like 20 minutes just doing this portion alone. But overall, the entire nail process was not that long. I think I'm getting better at this one. I think it was like around an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. So that's really good for me, considering where I started. When I first started doing my nails, yo, it took me like 3 hours, and I'm not even lying. And that was just for something basic, some short nails. But it's just, you know, it's a learning process. It's definitely a learning process for me. I'm not a professional, and I don't claim to be. So, you know, with each set that I do, I get better and better. And I actually enjoy doing my nails. It's kind of like a, you know, like a self-care thing that I do. It's something that, you know, it's just me. I zone out, put my music on, and just do my nails, you know. And the best part about it is it's free. It is free for me. If I mess up, I can fix it. If I change my mind mid-design and I want to do something else, I can put that on there. Can't nobody charge me, you know. So sometimes I go crazy. Sometimes I keep it simple. All right, now we're getting ready to start with the acrylic application. That is the smelly liquid. I was smart this time. I put a towel down. I put my paper towel down. Still spilled it, but it is what it is. You start with the ball right in the middle. I like to start in the middle on that smile line and just kind of drag it down. And then I'll go back and just reapply as much as you want. You don't want to make them too thick, but you also don't want to make them too thin. The reason behind that is because if they're thin, it's more easier for it to pop off or break or crack or, you know, whatever. But you also don't want it super, super thick because fat nails are just, I mean, unless you like that, but for me, fat nails are just not it. You don't want it to look too humpy. The point is to make it look as semi-natural as possible. So, you start off with a small bead and you just build up to your desired thickness. And that's what we're doing here. And I kind of like to, you know, just let it sit for a second just to settle, and then I'll bring it down. If I find that it's too thick, I'll just dab my brush back into the liquid without the powder to kind of thin out the acrylic before it sets. You have a good little while before it actually starts to get hard. So we're done with the application process. Trust me, it was not that fast. I definitely sped it up. Now we're just cleaning out the brush, making sure it's nice and flat. What's next? Close all that good stuff up, and then we go back to some more filing. This is where it's going to be kind of lumpy from the acrylic that you put on, so you're using a drill to smooth things out. You're cleaning up the cuticle area. You're shaping it a little bit if you must, but I shape it with the hand file because it's easier for me. I'm not really that good with shaping with the electric drill. This I just use to kind of smooth out and just, you know, further blend everything together. Everything is about blending to just making, you know, make it look nice. That's what we're doing here. And then I'm taking this part so that I can kind of like get around the cuticle edges. And that's all. I really like that length. I still think they was a little too short. I kind of wanted them, you know, longer, but it's all right. Maybe next time I go a little bit longer. Sometimes it gets in the way when I'm typing, but I pretty much have mastered that. So I don't know. I just like long nails. Take your time when you're in this part because you do not want to cut that cuticle. I've been doing pretty well with that. We don't want no bleeding. We don't want none of that stuff because it will bleed into your nail polish. Y'all see me fidgeting and moving around. I'm sorry, but my back was killing me because I'm like staying humped over so that I can stay in the frame of the shot. I got to figure out a different setup, but you know, I don't have my desk yet. I'm in my office in my room, but I don't have a desk in there yet. So I have like I'm using an end table and my office chair. That's what my setup is right now because I just didn't feel like sitting outside. I think it might have been raining when I did it, so I didn't want to go outside. But yeah, when I get my desk, it'll be better for my back. But yo, it was killing you, girl, for real. All right, we on to the next hand. Just checking it, trying to see if we got any humps in there. Trying to get it as smooth as possible. This helps with the paint process when you're putting on your nail polish and all of that good stuff. You don't want it humpy because it's definitely going to show when the polish is on there. You want it to look as smooth as it possibly can be, as smooth as you can get it. So that's where we at right now. Then we come back in with the file. And this is the part, oddly enough, even though it's dumb tedious, I like doing this because this is when I get to see my nails actually taking shape. And, you know, I use this to shape them in coffin shape or just super square or, you know, slanted, whatever the case may be. This is just easier for me to manipulate versus using the regular drill. I've used the drill like once, I think, to try to shape my nails, but it came out so horrible when I tell you. I mean, like, wow. It was horrible. So it was a lot easier for me to just use this hand file right here. After we're done with that, you want to go back in with yet another file. This is the block. I like to call it the butcher block. This right here is just, I guess, just smoothing everything out again. Just blending it, getting off any crusties, any hard parts, any parts that's sticking up. And then you want to go underneath the nail because you probably have like acrylic maybe under there or, you know, some dried up glue. So you want to make sure that nothing is underneath the nail that is sticking up and nothing is underneath on the top of the nail that's sticking up. And that's what I'm doing with this. This has two sides. It has like a rough side, an emery board, and then it has a smoothing side to buff. And you'll see me do that in a second. Moving on, we're done with the filing. Now we're going to start with the base coat. That's the first step in the paint process. You want to get this on every nail, and then we're going to cure it. I just did for like 30 seconds. One time, and we're going to move on to the next hand. Same thing. Trying to make it as smooth as possible when you're applying this polish. It would definitely help when you're putting the nail polish on top of it. And then we want to cure this hand. 30 more seconds. Then we get to the fun part. Picking out the colors. And at this point, I was still stuck on what design I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do pink. That hot pink is beautiful, but I just didn't know like how I wanted the set to be. I finally decided to put the pink on the thumbnail because I just like the way that looks. And then you'll see what I do with the rest of the colors. Baby, you don't know a chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. 'Cause the love you give, you can't be replaced. Say no one else can do. Alright, so after the pink, I was going to go in with that dark purple, but I decided that was a little too dark. So instead, I went for that blue. And we're going to put that on the ring finger. This particular polish I was noticing was a bit thinner, so that's why you see it kind of like have those streaky lines in it. Definitely had to go in with a few coats of that so that it could be more opaque. Next color I'm reaching for is that pretty purple. It's a little lighter than the dark one that I first picked up. And that one we put on the pointer finger. Alright, so the next color I'm trying to choose is for the middle finger. And it's between the salmon and that glitter polish that I always use. That glitter polish low-key is my go-to because it doesn't matter what nail you put it on, what design you're doing, it always comes out flawless. But in the end, I wound up with the salmon, and we're going to put that one on the middle finger. That salmon is definitely a pretty color, but it's really, really light, so I had to do at least like 4 coats, and I know that seems a bit extreme, but trust me when I tell you, when I put it on the first time, I was like, yo, it's pretty much transparent. So I went in with a second coat. It was still too light. I went back in with a third coat, and then I think I finally got it right on the 4th try. Here, I'm just trying to decide if I want to use that yellow color. I didn't really like it, but I said, let me just give it a try. I picked it up in the store one day, and I really have to stop doing that because I just be picking up any color. I'm going to tell y'all. And you see in a minute, I do not like this color at all. I said, no, ma'am. We're just going to go ahead and wipe that off. Thanks. Bye. Going back to the glitter, which was my original one in the first place, and I should have just stuck with that. Now for this glitter, I love this, but the way that the glitter is like packed in the bottle, it makes it really hard to get out. So you kind of have to maneuver the brush a bit so that you can make sure that you get glitter on the nail the way you want it. As soon as I started painting on this pinky nail, I already knew that the nail polish was not dry. So that's why you see me kind of pushing it around because some of the glitter was moving because I was trying to put the top coat on. So definitely make sure that your nails are completely dry before you start applying any of the top coat because it's going to mess up the polish if you don't. But I will say I really am proud of myself. Little humble moment right here. Because when I first started doing my nails about, 2-3 years ago, I definitely didn't think that I could do it at all. Like, I used to watch the people. I used to watch them in the nail salons. And I was like, I'm never going to be able to know how to do this kind of stuff. And it just goes to show you that if you sit with something and you practice it and you're determined and, you know what I'm saying, actually put your mind to it, you can do anything. It's not just a saying. I know it sounds cliche. Trust me, I know it does. But if you want to do something, go ahead and do it. And don't stop until you figure out how to do it. So if I could, I should have did like a before and after. If I could have recorded my first set versus where we are now, you can definitely see the difference and you'll understand what I'm talking about. For this one, I just wanted to keep it simple. And yes, we are done, baby. We curing it. It's a Rizzy. I hope you guys like this video. I like the nails, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.
insert.